Hi everyone, it's Quillfane again. First, I have to apologize for being away for so long. It wasn't planned like that, but I had no choice. I simply haven't had the time to make a video, and I've lost the footage of the walkthrough of another Kipper carton deck that I made beforehand, so I had something to upload. But again, I lost the footage, so I simply haven't had the time to film a video. But yesterday I put up a picture of my Tarot Mucha, which I have gilded the other day, and in just gold edging, and the response was quite well and loved, and a couple people asked me what I used for it and how I did it, and so I wanted to make a quick video about well, the material that I used for it. The palette that I used is the Delicata 4 or Quattro, probably, although it's definitely not an Italian company because it's by Tsuki Neko. And it comes in this pack of 4. And the colors are Golden Glitz, Silvery Shimmer, Bronze Burst, and Celestial Copper. And I will quickly go and switch on the lights because I think it's a bit too dark because it's a very gloomy day right now. I'll be right back. Okay, here I am again. I don't know if the lighting's better. I really need to buy one of those like real camera lights, but I haven't. I'll take off the lid so you can see the colors a bit better. I have used all but the Bronze Burst on different decks, so I will show you these decks in a minute. I just wanted to say something about this palette first. It is one of these smushy, you can see it, it's very spongy ink pads, which is a little minus, I have to say, because you get a lot of excess ink on the cards. So you have to wipe each and every card, which isn't such a bad thing because usually the cards have all this, they're laminated. So even if you have a matte finish on the card still is laminated. So you can wipe it off easily as long as the color is still wet. So that's not the point. It's just the handling's a bit more time-consuming. It's not even more difficult than the Tim Holtz ink pads, but it's more time-consuming. So that's a minus, but the finish is great. Something else about this specific palette. What I think is another actually pretty huge minus is that other than the I got the stack of 4 ink pads for the Jim Holtz inks, distress inks, and they all came separately packaged. So you have a lid for each and every ink pad, so they don't dry out while you use just one color. Whereas here you only have this one lid, so you have to open it up if you want to use just one color of it, and all the other 3 colors will dry out a bit. And I feel that this will make them not that long lasting. And actually, I have the feeling that just after using it on one deck, the color oh, I'm missing the English word. But you don't get as much color on the edge as you did like with the first 20 cards. So you have to work your way through this a bit. I am not 100% sure of this palette, as you can tell by, well, this little review. Although, again, I have to say the outcome's pretty stunning, despite the silver, which is actually, I thought it would be like a real silver sheen, a bit like the Fountain Tarot, maybe. But if you just read the name of it, which is Silvery Shimmer, it's absolutely what it is. It gets a silvery shimmer onto the edges of your cards and not more. So I was a bit disappointed by that, but again, that's because of my expectations, not because of the palette. And other than that, the outcome is pretty darn gorgeous. So I will show you. I will close this again because I really don't want the colors to dry. I'm going to show you what I did. First off, I etched my shadowscape, and it had to become silvery. And that's when I was a bit disappointed because, I mean, you can see there's a sheen. You can see it's a bit silvery, but the it's not a huge difference. Although it does finish it off a bit, and you can tell there is a sheen on it, and it's silvery all around. It's just not like this really glossy and really like mirrory finish that you get with something like the Fountain Tarot or a industrially edged or gilded deck. Again, but it's beautiful nonetheless. So I put the silvery sheen on my shadowscape. I put I have to look the name up again, forgot about it. The Celestial Copper onto my Spirit Messages cards. It's a bit difficult to see. It's a very stunning color, but a bit difficult to see because I trimmed this deck and I wasn't too keen on trimming it like perfectly. So the cards are pretty irregular. So they're not all the same size, and that's what makes it difficult to show an edging properly. But you can tell it's a really nice color for this deck. And then the star of it all, as I already said, edged my oh my goodness, I can't talk. My Tarot Mucha. And it's just stunning. Just look at this. I hope the camera is picking it up because it is actually really dark in here right now. So I don't know if the color comes out the way it is actually, but it's, this is so beautiful. It's a bit like, just color-wise, it's a bit in between those two colors of the back, in depth. So it really fits the cards beautifully, and you have this gorgeous golden shimmer going on. I love it. I am in love. And yes, there are a couple cards missing for those of you who are like, you have perfect vision. But I have a spread laying out with the Tarot Mucha, which I wanted to take a closer look at later on. So, just to show you the handling, I have the Osho Zen Tarot here. And I thought this would be, because I already have a feel, or I always had the feel, that this is a quite fiery deck. I thought this would be like the perfect deck to try out the Bronze Burst, which is the most reddish color up here, and it's stunning. So I will show you how I use this palette just very quickly. So you have the card, obviously. I like to do it with the front facing me. You just, as you did with all the ink holds pads, you do edge around the, well, edges. So I'll do this a couple times, like this. And then you have to, well, I will show you. You can see now that there's a lot of color like on the card. And to get rid of that, you simply have to wipe it off. I'll do it for both sides. And when you do that, you have the color only left on the edges, whereas the kind of raw paper. And then, just like you are used to, you lay it to the side and you let it dry for a couple minutes before you stack it. I'm going to do another card. What I do with this ink pads is because they're so spongy, I have the feeling that if I stick to one place, I don't get as much color on the cards as I want to. So I kind of shift the direction where I pull the cards through the ink pads. I don't know if you understand what I want to say. Ooh, I messed up a bit. You can see it here, but again, you can wipe it off easily just by your fingers. So you need another spare piece of tissue paper because, excuse me, because you want to clean your fingers every once in a while, because you get color on your fingers, just as usual. So again, now the card's pretty clean and you only have the color where you want it to be, like on the edges and nowhere else. And your fingers get all messy. So, oh, I have to do this here as well. It doesn't wipe off as easily as the other cards, probably because it's not as glossy as the others, but still you can get rid of the excess ink quite easily. So it's not a problem. Eventually you come to the result you want, but it'll take a bit more effort. So now I have to clean my fingers or I'll smudge the other cards. Now I lost my train of thought. I wanted to tell you something. Oh, like right now what I meant with change the directions of pulling the cards. So right now I pulled the cards here over the ink pad. So maybe now I'll do it like this. So in this way you ensure that there is color all over the ink pad and you really get the color onto the cards. So I would advise you to do that. And I even put the ink pads out like on top. So I put the lid on and lay them down like this. So the pads will soak with the ink again. Again, I'm not 100% sure about this specific palette. I love the outcome. Again, I'm not too sure about the handling and I'm not too sure about the, well, how long it'll last. The outcome itself, like I said, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's it doesn't smudge onto your fingers once it's dry. So there's absolutely nothing to be said like negatively about it. It's just the handling that I'm not too fond of. So again, get rid of everything that's bothering you on the cards. And you can see this one has a quite matte finish. This is not a shiny card. So you can do it on cards that aren't shiny. Like in comparison, this is a glossy card. You can see this isn't. Can you see the difference? So obviously this one is a lot more easy to wipe off, but you still can get rid of all the excess ink on the more matte cards as well. It's absolutely no difficulty to get rid of the color, but still, as I said, it's a bit more effort. It takes a bit more time. It's not a thing you can do like this easily in, I don't know, half an hour or something. So you have to just plan that it takes a bit more time. So I will do like maybe a third of the deck off camera right now, and I will show you the result then. Okay, just a quick tip of what I do when I feel like the color payoff isn't as good as I wanted it to be, because then I don't wipe the cards through the ink or pull the cards through the ink pads, but I kind of tap them down. So like this, tap, tap. The first round, I'll tap them down like this. And then the second round, I simply pull them through again to kind of smooth out the result. So this, I just wanted to insert this little quick clip for you to see how you can kind of work around problems. I have to say, I actually have to wipe off quite a lot of excess, or it's just very tiny bit, but I can still see it and it would bother me. So I have to wipe it off with my fingers because the tissue doesn't get all of the color off. Probably because it's a matte card. But again, with my fingers, it's quite easy to do. And you can simply wipe off your fingers and they'll be as good as new. So other than the ink pads, this won't stain your fingers that much, which is a plus. Another thing I forgot to do is simply read you the back. Because what is said there, it's acid-free. So again, this is the Delicata 4 by Tsuki Neko. It's the metals palette, and it's acid-free, it's water-based, and it's archival, whatever that means. I don't have a clue. It's rich and radiant, and it says that it's exquisite metallic ink that will not tarnish or lose its luster. Delicata pigment ink dries within minutes on porous paper. Metallic results are more stunning without embossing. So, and that's another thing I wanted to say. When I say something about the handling of these ink pads and that they're not as good as maybe the Jim Holtz ink pads for edging tarot decks, you just have to keep in mind that, I mean, the average tarot reader isn't the #1 customer of ink pads. So it's not what a company has in mind if they create ink pads. They create this for a lot of artwork and creative expressions and in numerous ways. But edging a tarot deck probably isn't on the mind of the creators of this palette, probably even not on the Jim Holtz company's mind, but it just happens to be that the Jim Holtz inks, in my opinion, are more easy to use on tarot decks or oracle decks or whatever decks than these kind of spongy ink pads are. So Jim Holtz, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but I would love me some metallic ink pads, like some metallic distress ink pads, because I know there is, Jim Holtz does have metallic color out there, but not with the ink pads, so you can't use it on just tarot decks. I will give these cards a couple more minutes to dry. I will do the rest, they're the missing 3 cards here. Then I will have inked 20 cards. Oh no, it's 6 per row. Oh, I will have inked 24 cards. And I will show you the 24 cards in comparison to the original deck. All right, so this is the result. I don't know if the camera is picking up the card, but you can see on the edges, you can see the beautiful shimmer that it really has. So it's this beautiful, I'd say more coppery tone, but it says bronze burst. In comparison to the deck, you can see that it makes a huge difference. And I love it. Oh, look at this. It's so lustrous. It's so, it's just gorgeous. So I will finish off the rest of the deck without you looking at me. But now you know how I did this gorgeous Tarot Mucha. And I am happy because I managed to finish this video before the parades are going to start, because it's actually carnival here in Germany right now. And the region I'm living in is quite excited about carnival in general. And, or it's the street carnival, as they like to say. And there is going to be a parade in my neighborhood in, I don't know, half an hour maybe. And it would be quite loud. I'm not that much into carnival, I have to admit, but people love to celebrate it around where I live. So I managed to be finished before it starts. Woohoo! All right, that's it. So I'm still alive and I'm still making videos, not as often as I used to, but I will think about what to film next. Maybe I'm going to show you my kind of the space where I keep my crystals and my tarot decks, and I definitely have to do an update on my tarot and oracle cards collection, because I accumulated quite a lot in the last couple months, and I will do that probably near the second half of February. So that's it. I hope you all have a gorgeous Sunday or Monday or whatever day of the week you're watching this, and just have a beautiful time. Bye.